Explore your world. I feel like Elvis right now.
This is gonna be
Chile.
Sydney.
It's not a drag.
Hello world, I've been waiting for a chance to see your face. Oh, hello world, I am ready for a different kind of place. And I'm flying to somewhere else, 'cause I'm searching for something else. And I'm leaving, I don't know where I'm gonna land. Oh no, yes, I'm leaving, I don't know where I'm gonna land.
Hello and welcome to Travelers.
In Sydney, Australia.
I'm Lisa Clark.
I'm Pierce Bunning.
And I'm Foster Solomon.
The first people to live in Australia were the Aborigines. Anthropologists believe they came here from Asia more than 50,000 years ago. Their way of life remained virtually unchanged until the 1770s when Captain Cook landed in Sydney Harbour.
Modern Australia can be traced back to 1,485 convicts, prison guards, their wives and children. This is a country born out of the social problem of prison overcrowding. Jails in England were overflowing, so they decided to send their most hardened criminals here. How could they have imagined what would happen in just over 200 years?
The city of Sydney has seen both boom and bust. She's lived through a gold rush, depressions, and 2 world wars. Sydney is now getting ready for her most important role to date. She'll host the Summer Olympics in the year 2000. Is Sydney ready for the new millennium and the games at the same time? Judge for yourself. Welcome to Travelers.
We don't have kangaroos and koalas running down the main streets.
What's your favorite thing about Sydney?
I have to say the girls. I find the girls very, very beautiful.
I think population of Sydney is only about 4 million. Right. Population of Australia is only 17 million, which is about New York City's population.
I'm in love with the place.
Probably my favourite thing in Sydney is sitting by the harbour's edge listening to jazz, drinking a wine.
Yeah, the weather changes really fast here. At least it has while we've been here in the wintertime. It's a beautiful day. It starts clouding over. It starts misting. The rain comes in.
If it's not nice in Sydney, then you only have to drive a couple of hours and it's nice somewhere else.
You know, I've travelled quite extensively. I don't think there's anything like Sydney Harbour in the world.
There's something for everyone, really.
One of the most famous bridges in the world, and you get the chance to ski under it.
We went out to Rose Bay and had the chance to meet Leanne Brown and Alex Ross. Leanne is a world champion holder in speed ski racing. She's won 2 years.
2 world titles now. And
Does that mean you're best in the world?
yeah.
Really?
So they say. There's probably a lot of people that wouldn't agree with that, but
Why?
they might think that they still are even if I win. So it's like you do get a big adrenaline rush when you're doing those speeds. But obviously, like I can ski for quite a while at 90, 95 miles an hour, but as soon as I start getting up to the higher range, 100, 105, I start to panic a little bit.
So how old are you, Alex? 17.
Yeah.
And you've already competed in one world championship?
Yeah, that was in Belgium in '95.
In 95?
Yeah.
And how'd you do?
Good.
Yeah?
I won. So
You won?
Yeah, guess you can't get much better.
How young were you when you started?
It's pretty unbelievable. Not many people believe me when I say it, but I've got video footage of me skiing at 18 months old, and I did my first race when I was 7.
The only thing that Alex skied on when we were with him was an oak plank, like you'd pick off a dock, except it was about this thin and about this long. He didn't go onto a ski, and he didn't ski on 2 of them, he skied on 1 of them. And he did all sorts of little hot doggy tricks, snow plows in the water to make himself covered with a cascade of water.
Basically what's going to happen, you're going to get in get your skis on.
Right.
The skis might start moving around a bit, so try to keep the skis together.
She just skied like Esther Williams from Cypress Gardens. She started cutting the wake and she would go back and forth and, hi everybody, how are you? Everything's fine. And I water skied before in my life, and I've gotten up and taken good rides, but I couldn't get up to save my life in Sydney Harbor. You try, you fail, you try, you fail, you try, you fail, you try, you fail, and it's just a big hassle.
He was up for several seconds.
Harry's Cafe de Wheels is in a part of Sydney called Woolloomooloo, and it's been around since 1945. It's this big to-go cart on wheels that sells meat pies and chicken pies with peas in them.
You always come down, you get a smile any hour of the day or the morning, and you get good quality food at a cheap price. That's why they keep coming back.
So this is a chicken pie with gravy.
Chicken pie, mashed potato and gravy.
All right. Complete meal in itself.
It is.
No peas.
Thank you kindly, mate. Well, most people usually have a pie and peas, which is what Harry's is famous for.
Pie and peas?
Yeah.
So they take the pie and you put the peas on top.
Peas on top and gravy.
So you have a lot of different people that come here?
Yeah, a lot of really different people.
Colorful?
Strange people at 4 o'clock in the morning. It is an icon. You get people. We had a man pull up one night and said he'd just driven up from Melbourne, which is a 9-hour drive. He decided he got bored and he wanted a pie.
This whole thing about eating peas mushed up with your to-go food is all new to me.
So now what are you creating for us here?
I'm creating a hot dog de wheels. It's got
Hot dog de
peas
wheels.
and chili con carne. It's got some onions, the hot dog, some cheese sauce,
Ah, cheese sauce.
and some chili sauce.
Looks quite good, actually.
And a plate and a fork, or she'll be wearing all of that. You want 5, right? 5, yep.
You guys are cabbies, huh?
Cabbies, right. Yeah, we're down here every night. We met here about 15 years ago and we've been coming here ever since.
Really? About that? Yeah. So the peas brought you together.
That's
Say
right.
that. Okay, let me figure something out here. 14 years, 52 weeks a year, 52 times 5, 260. 14, 10, 40.
Don't tell.
with what he spent. All right, that's about 3,640 meals you've had here.
And on average, I spend about $5. So that's a fair bit of money, hey? I usually have peas, hot dog, and chili sauce, and then I usually have a plain chicken pie. So this, I presume, is less fattening than a meat pie.
So if this place ever got in trouble, would you guys chip in and keep it going?
This guy will never get in trouble.
Never,
Holy moly!
never.
You gotta try this, it's great. It's a veggie pie with peas, mashed potatoes, and gravy.
My parents have always been saying, don't shave your head and...
Ooh, that's actually quite sexy.
Next on Travelers.
Paddington is a section of Sydney that is pretty bohemian, very eclectic. It's got a lot of artists who live there, a lot of craftsmen.
And this market really did reflect that feel. Why are you here in this market?
To make a living.
And are you doing it?
Very basic, yes, just about, yes.
And so what do you do?
I buy old clothes and recycle them. I fix them up, I dye them, mend them, restyle. This one was a wedding dress that was very discoloured white. So I took the train off and made it into a skirt and sold the dress, dyed the whole thing purple.
Is that the oldest thing you have?
Oh, no. This coat here would be from the 20s, 1920s.
So are you from Sydney?
Yes, I used to be in fashion business, creating, designing. But now I'm trying to be a painter and do this to make a living while I do it.
Do you make these yourself?
I do, actually.
Really?
I have a friend up in the Northern Territory, Catherine. He goes out bush and cuts them down, his family. So I go out and buy them from him. But I've gone out and cut ditches. Yeah.
Really? What are they made from?
Woolly butt trees. Yeah,
Butt trees?
Woolly butt, like furry bottom. No, that's it. Woolly butt tree. It's a eucalyptus tree up in the Northern Territory. I'd love it. You know what I can do? Like one day I went down south and on a mountaintop played didge for quite a few hours while I was down there. Came back that afternoon through sunset, went to a dance party and played that. So there I was meditating on a cliff, looking over clouds, and then that night I'm in a techno club somewhere playing didge. It's weird.
Techno didge?
Oh, yeah, something like that. It was opening up with live drums.
Yeah.
So it was really good.
We use a very modern product, like silicone-based product, that allow us to basically take very precise. Yes, absolutely.
Do you have the person right here and you cast them and then fill in the mold?
Case, okay, in that particular case, I think she'll forgive me for saying so. She's an Australian Olympic athlete, Rebecca Joyce, and basically, yes, she did come to the studio. She has to go into the position, and she basically has to be still for about 5 to 7 minutes.
What brought you here to Sydney?
Love.
Love of a city, love of a person? What?
Yeah, love of a person. I fell in love with an Australian actress back in Paris, and I decided to come out here and successfully started here in Australia very quickly, basically. Yeah.
I love these.
Oh, thank you.
Did you design these?
Yeah.
Did you design these?
Yes, I did. I don't know, I'm sort of like sick of seeing everyone looking the same, and I thought, well, we need a bit more individuality, so I don't hold back. Okay, that's quite... Oh yeah, this is a nice piece.
Oh, that's great. I love it with a vinyl purple heart
at the back.
Ew, that's actually quite sexy.
Yeah, This is my uniform, and they're all patches that
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Does the B stand for anything?
Bum.
Bum? I love it. What's this
Bad?
What's this little guy down here?
Oh, that's our horny cherub. He's like our cheeky angel. He's like an angel with horns, so he's not like evil or anything. He's friendly, yeah? This is my sister Sonia.
Hi.
She's my
How you
guinea
doing?
pig.
I'm Lisa.
How are you, Lisa?
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a mess at the moment.
Now, what is this? What is this material?
It's just wool and it's been patched up and I don't know, and it's reversible too. You can wear it inside out.
Right.
I love it. What can I say? I'm biased. My mother used to buy things and she used to say, please don't cut it up. She'd be in a room, yeah, okay, cutting it, We've been like this all our lives. My parents have always been saying, don't shave your head and don't do this, and we're just like, okay.
Wow. Great. Wow, look at that. Fabulous.
There's two main beaches in Sydney. There's Bondi Beach and there's Manly Beach. Bondi Beach is this beautiful place where a lot of surfers go and windsurfers, and there's walkways and stuff. And there's this club there, kind of up on the hill, overlooking the little inlet called the Iceberg Club. It's pretty much the Australian equivalent of polar bear clubs in the United States, where people love to swim in freezing cold water. How long has the Iceberg Club been around for?
Club started in 1929. It's quite easy to be a member. It's a little bit harder to retain your membership. All you've got to do is you've got to swim every Sunday during the winter, 3 Sundays out of 4 for 5 years. If you fail to meet these commitments, you send a letter by the swimming committee. You have to come along.
Sorry.
You have to come along and meet with the committee on a certain date designated by them and explain the position. And if your excuse is not acceptable, you're out. Sunday is our big day because it's when we have our competitions. First of all, we have our young group swimming. They're the young lads from 13 to 17. We call them the Ice Cubes. And then we have the championship races. We have relays during the year.
And this water's pretty cold.
Yeah, today it's 15, so it's not too bad.
15, so that's for us back in the States, that's about 60. That's pretty cold.
Yeah, it's damn good for a hangover.
Is this a weekly occurrence for you?
Every week, yes.
Really?
Yes, and since I started, I have missed a week. Before that, I thought I'd never get in this cold water. Never. It's just so exhilarating, it's just wonderful. It feels so wonderful after. It's very cold in the last few weeks. In fact, the whole season's been very cold. So, but I don't think it'll get very much colder. A couple more degrees won't make much difference. It's really not that bad.
Yeah.
14 or 13 or 15. But it gets down to about 12. That's about the lowest it gets down to. They wouldn't let us in before. The men just wanted it all to themselves. But as usual, but we help them out.
And this happens rain or shine?
Oh, rain or shine, yeah.
Doesn't matter. And snow?
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't seen any snow in Sydney, but that wouldn't worry us.
They have a big tradition of life-saving because when people swim in Australia, they're not swimming in man-made lakes, they're not swimming in freshwater lakes or swimming pools usually. They swim in the ocean a lot. People really volunteer to be lifesavers in Australia.
We're on Manly Beach, which is probably one of the most beautiful beaches on the northern side of Sydney. And it's pretty well protected. Like today is a fairly windy day and the wind's coming from the south, but it's sheltered here, it's beautiful. Well, I'm one of the vice captains of the surf club here, and I'm a volunteer lifesaver, lifeguard. This is probably one of the oldest clubs in Australia. It goes back as far as 1902, and a lot of history here, as you can see on the walls, where early pioneers, back when people weren't allowed to go swimming in the daytime and all that bizarre sort of thing.
They weren't allowed to swim in the daytime?
And they had to wear neck to knees, and this beach was covered in little barrows where they had to go and get dressed and run out, and they could only swim at night time and do this. It was just really bizarre. Here at Manly we have our own surf carnival where all the other clubs from around Australia come here to compete, men and women and young kids.
Also, you have to contend with sharks and all sorts of things that can happen in the ocean.
And a big female shark came out of nowhere and she hit me right against the wall of this cave, broke my ribs, bruised me down the side. I turned around the other way and the shark hooked in there and hit me again, but this time she opened her mouth. I presume it was a female. And I got a puncture mark just above the ribs here, another one further down. One shark you can handle, keep an eye on it, but if 2 sharks come round, you need eyes in the back of your head because they're predators. They'll hunt you, If a shark was coming straight at you, keep eye contact with the shark. Yell into the water, don't splash around too much, and if it's going to attack, you can't stop it. It's going to move in. What I would do is try to eye gouge.
Eye gouge?
Eye gouge.
That's awfully close, Dave.
That's what I mean, it's that close. I mean, you might as well do something and just sit there and just sort of be attacked.
Right.
Eye gouge, or get your hand. This is what I recommend. Dive your hands into the gills and just rip.
Find up with Behind This Mask, next on Travellers.
When the sun falls, and it falls early in winter, thousands of lights give the harbor an electric new look.
Many people have called the Sydney Harbor the most beautiful harbor in the world.
All around the harbor, a vibrant scene is coming to life. Anything goes in Sydney.
And one of the places where anything goes in Sydney is the Albury Hotel.
If you want to see drag in Sydney, this is the place to be.
This is a predominantly gay part of town, right?
Yep, definitely. Oxford Street in Sydney, very gay. This area is called Paddington in Sydney. Lots of gay clubs.
It's very cosmopolitan. It's probably it is the biggest city in Australia, so
yeah.
I don't know why, it just seems to attract a lot of gays.
You walk down the street here and you'll see heaps of guys holding hands and nobody cares. It's very open. It's sort of like, compared to other places in Australia, say like Hobart, where I've lived for the last few years. I mean, if you walk down the street in Hobart holding hands, you'd probably get shot, but it's just like a big difference sort of up here. So I've got a lot of heterosexual friends and they just, they enjoy it. They like coming to see the drag shows.
I spoke to Barbara Bubbles, who is the headlining act. Sydney is probably the most liberal part of Australia, from what I understand. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, very accepting, yes. I mean, we'll take anybody as long as they're friendly.
Are you in drag 24 hours a day?
Oh, God, no. Do you think I could look like this 24 hours a day?
I ran into her costumer, her dresser, Michelle.
This is Bubbalina's one for this show, and it's a genie costume.
Right, a dream of genie. I can see it.
Genie, but it's really kind of cute.
Master.
But a lot of the other drag queens are very competent sewers and do a lot of their own sewing themselves.
So you have a pretty wild life.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Do you stay up all night and party with these guys?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. I work for the government. You work for the government?
No.
In a suit? Or?
No, not really in a suit, but it's a serious 9 to 5.
Dressed as a boy?
Oh yeah. And they're very proud of me.
Are they? Do they come and see you work?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm on Little Albion Street here, trying to find Frederick, who I met at the marketplace, who makes the masks, and he promised to make me one. Hello?
Hi.
Oh. Hello,
Hi, I've just
Frederick?
opened the door for you. 2
Okay.
seconds.
Oh. Hello, Fred.
Good evening, Foster.
How you doing?
I'm good, and you? How was your day?
It was good.
Yeah? This is my girlfriend and assistant.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
We've got the workshop set up on the other side for you, we're ready to go.
Okay.
I will get you to take your t-shirt off and get you psychologically and physically ready for the experience. We can do half the face, we can do the whole head, we can do head with the torso. We could do so many things in terms of the works. Maybe we want to introduce a bit more madness. So if you kind of, like you just did, you just went, yeah, something like that. Just start warming up your jaw muscles because they're going to be tied up quite a lot.
Okay.
Yes, rage. Yeah, I can see
Frustration.
that. Yeah, the frustration. All right, I like that. I like the hand almost in the mouth and the pressure on the cheek. Yes, I like that. The first layer is fairly cold. The thing goes onto your face, it's fairly cold. As soon as it sets, we then go on with the plaster bandage. That's a warm feeling. It's actually quite a nice feeling. Then we dry it with a hair dryer. Once that is dry, we just take it off, and that's it. All right. And basically, the whole operation should take about 7 to 12 minutes. All right. Foster, we're ready to kick. Okay, this is gonna be chili. It's just fine. He's just meditating now, probably.
Tap your toes if you're okay.
Being covered in the pink goop was actually not that bad. I'm not claustrophobic. I could deal with all of that just fine. The most difficult part was maintaining the facial expression that I chose.
Oh, chest hair.
Just here.
Oh,
Just here.
sorry. That's
Okay.
it.
Now what about my
Oh,
some fingers in here?
All right. Okay, just get your hands up, one by one.
Okay.
That's it. Beautiful. This is perfect.
Well done.
Not a single bubble in there.
Oh,
Basically,
this hurts so much.
what hurts?
It's just
Look.
stuck to. No! Oh! Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, you feeling better now?
Yes,
Yeah?
much. The shower helped immensely. Although I have to say that your drain in your tub is stopped up with paint stuff. So.
Yeah, so used to it.
I'm sorry.
What we have here is a negative.
Mm-hmm.
And from the negative, the idea is to produce a positive. There is a lot of intricate and very fine areas that are going to make sure the plaster goes in, and that's about it. I try, if I can, most of the time, to actually produce the mold in one piece, so that there is only one piece mold. It makes things easier.
Are we leaving this for now?
That's what we have here. We gotta let the baby dry all night now, and basically tomorrow the process is to actually taking out of it.
Okay.
All right.
So I come back then?
Yes, you come back tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll take it out of the mold.
Just a 40-minute drive north of Sydney, and you've entered natural bushland.
It's an area with a completely different look and a completely different sound.
Pierce and I had a chance to drive about an hour outside the city to Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park, which is this immense, beautiful park right next to the water. Contains a lot of bush or woods, and also has a tremendous amount of Aboriginal engravings right on these large open rock spaces in the park. We met up with a guy named Heath, who is an Aboriginal man who is not necessarily from this area. He's from another part of Australia, but he was able to give us a little insight.
Is this considered sacred land?
Very sacred land. We have to show a little bit of respect from up here. So what we got our bull roarer. We'll just walk up here a little bit more. So what I'll do, I'll just tour this around.
Before we actually entered the place where the carvings were, he pulled out this kind of oblong-shaped piece of wood with a design on it and a long string attached to it. And he says, I have to let them know we're coming, really. It's called a bull roar. It wasn't a blessing as much as it was, we're here. You know, it was like a doorbell.
So this is like an Aboriginal mobile phone.
A what? Mobile phone.
So yeah, so. Why the Aboriginal people would have done all these drawings, just to show that they're probably, just to tell all the other Aboriginal people that were walking through this area. There was a few heaps of kangaroos around this area where there's a lot of food for them. In the bush here, it's just like a big shopping centre. Like you wouldn't believe how much food and water's in the bush here. So yeah, they would have survived a very long time.
And he was telling us that those were really just there to let other Aborigines know that there's food in this area. There are kangaroos in the area and that you can survive. It was sort of like a signpost.
That's a dolphin here.
I gotta get out of the sun so we can see it.
No, this is his tail here.
Oh, I see.
That's his tail.
Right, his little flipper.
His little flipper, yeah. Years ago when the Aboriginal people, or the tribe elder, he would, every couple of years he will come along and just go over the engravings. But today that Aboriginal people, there's no tribal elder for us to go back over the engravings here today, so they're really just like fading away.
So they would keep them fresh, you mean?
I'll keep them fresh, yeah.
By going back and
redoing them, yeah, just recarving them out.
No one's going to do this now, and this will eventually disappear?
Yeah, in years to come, this will all just disappear, and all there will be here was just the sandstone, yeah.
That's sad.
It'd be a shame, yeah, it'd be a shame to see. What I got here is my didgeridoo. Now, the Aboriginal word for our didgeridoo is called udaki. Udaki, yeah. So when Captain Cook first came over here to Australia, when they first heard the udaki, what it all sounded like was saying didgeridoo, didgeridoo, didgeridoo. So that's why they call it the didgeridoo. The termites or white ants actually hollowed it out for us, and they done all the hard work for us. How we play it's called circular breathing.
It's called what?
Circular breathing. So that's where the heartbeat is. That's where you get a breathe through your nose and out of your mouth all at the same time. And also you get to puff your cheeks up, just like a bagpipe. They played it just for mucking around, and also they played it just for traditional dancing, and also like for weddings and yeah, so on. They say that the didgeridoo's also got a spirit inside, so once you stop playing the didgeridoo, it keeps playing by itself. When you blow a didgeridoo, just blow it, just relax your lips, and just nice and gently, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually just go for making noise rather than the circular breathing right now.
All right.
I don't think it's happening.
Needs batteries. It's
pretty good, man. How long could you keep doing this for?
Really up to about half an hour. Then after that, your lips get all numb. But really, if your lips didn't get numb at all, you could play all day until the next day, really. And then after that, I reckon you'd be getting pretty bored.
Or hungry.
Think this looks easy? Think again. Up next on Travelers.
I had a chance to meet with Tracy Holmes, who's doing a lot of the publicity for Sydney 2000. Tell me about when Sydney found out they were going to get the Olympics.
It was quite amazing because it was about 4:20 in the morning, Australian time, when Juan Antonio Samaranch, the international president, stood up and said, and the winner is Sydney. Everyone in Sydney just freaked out, and the party went on, I'm not joking, for a week. You know, it was front page headlines all week. It was on the news as the first story all week. It really was fantastic. We can't quite grasp what it's going to be like by the time the Olympic Games hits. There's a heap of construction happening. We've got 28 sports, so 28 separate venues, if you like. We're pretty proud of our city, so we'd like as many people as possible to come.
We drove out to Homebush, which is where a lot of the Olympic events will be held, and I met with an Olympic hopeful for the synchronized swimming. Her name is Naomi Young. She's 21 years old.
The sport is like a combination of swimming and dancing and gymnastics and that type of thing. It's all in the water, and it's just fun and creative.
How do you train for that? I mean, you mentioned dance, you mentioned gymnastics, you mentioned swimming. Do you train in all those areas?
Yes, well I do like normal swimming training, and I do a dance class like once, twice a week, and stretching, and I go also do weights 3 times a week.
So how many hours a day do you practice for this?
Well, I just came back from a heavy training camp in Calgary in Canada, and we were doing 7 hours a day.
How does it feel to possibly be representing your country in the Olympics?
Well, it's very exciting. Like, that's basically why you do the sport, especially when you do it at my level and you do it all the time. It's, what you're in it for.
Could you show me some of your routine?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Keep your knees
knees up a bit more.
Naomi and Ashley tried to teach me a little bit of synchronized swimming.
And finish. Yay! Keep sculling. You got to scull. Now bring up your legs. Come on, bring them up. Knees together. Head in. There we go.
Thanks, you guys.
Excellent. Okay, almost right. What's the
impressive.
first foot?
My phone bill during the round the world race was $100,000.
And how often do you see carpet this colour?
Next on Travelers. I got to take the sailboat ride out into Sydney Harbor with a man named Ian Kiernan. He's this Sydney-born man who loves the water, loves Sydney, and loves the harbor. And he has spent a majority of his life trying to get people to realize that the harbor is a valuable resource. It's something to be treasured, and they should take care of it. Ian, you're sure you don't need any help?
No, I'd be okay.
I'm just being...
When I sailed around the world on my own.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's not like I know what I'm doing. I'm just being a polite guest.
Well, you're looking pretty intelligent there, so it doesn't matter. Just keep doing that.
Okay. So you have lived on this boat before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I sailed this boat to the States twice now. Lived on it for a year at a time, and it's great. Great way to travel. Now with faxes and email, of course, it's easier.
You can get fax and email here on the boat, just up over the
satellite communication. I got satellite communication here.
So it's not as isolated as it used to be.
No. In fact, my phone bill during the round the world race was $100,000.
Whoa.
The sponsor was not amused. When I was a kid, you know, the dolphin were jumping and you could catch kingfish this big in the harbour here. But they're starting to come back now because we're cleaning it up. And I think that's a new trend today, that people are starting to care more about the environment and recognise how important it is. It might just be picking up somebody else's trash, but that's the start. Once they do that, they start to look at this harbour or the lake or the beach or the park with a new sense of ownership and recognising that that they can make a difference to the health of the harbour and the beauty of the asset. When I was a kid, we weren't allowed to put a foot in the harbour unless you were in an enclosure because the sharks would eat you.
Are they still that prevalent?
No, they're not, but they're still here. But I still swim in the harbour. In fact, my friends reckon the absolute irony is because I've helped clean up the harbour and the fish are coming back and the sharks are getting bigger, and because I swim in the harbour all the time, they reckon the greatest irony will be if I get eaten by a shark in a cleaner harbour.
It's one of the world's busiest performing arts centres. There's over 3.5 million people come to actually events at the Opera House, be it performances or performances outside.
We met Andrew, who is an arts administrator.
So Sydney Symphony Orchestra, this was...
He gave us a tour, but following Andrew around in this place was challenging because he knew everywhere he was going, but we didn't. So he would all of a sudden walk down the hall and go, "To your left, please," like that. And, "To your right, oh, watch out for that thing. Okay, now we're going over here. Hello, we're going over here, and we're going over there." Andrew, what's going on?
Okay, this is what's going on. If we wanted to, no, you can't take any, don't take any of
No,
me
he's
on
just
the
checking
stage,
with the
okay?
light.
You can get like sued, okay?
So I was very disappointed to find out that we couldn't tape in here, we couldn't tape this, we couldn't look at that, we couldn't watch a rehearsal, we couldn't tape a room. Not just a stage, but the green room. Couldn't go taping in that.
It's very complicated.
They don't want free press.
How much compensation?
A lot, because they've decided you see, this is all it is. It's nothing you have to get through the agent. You have to get compensation. I was just hoping we could maybe like work around that. Why don't you take a shot of the theatre like that, and then
So how many
empty chairs? Wow.
Unfortunately, we can't film inside the halls, as I've told you. But
so we can't go into the theater
we can't,
itself.
I'm sorry, but listen, I'm taking you for a tour. You'll see a good aspect of this place. Okay.
How many rooms are in this building or in this complex?
Well, probably about 500 rooms altogether, if you include offices, rehearsal rooms, and also the halls, of course.
And the actors have a great green room, right? A great lounge area, I heard.
They do have we do have a green room. I'm not quite sure whether great is something that everyone would, totally agree with, but yeah, it's a nice place. Actors go and they can relax there, and they can just
So they have a
be
bar.
themselves.
Can we see that?
We can see that, but we totally can't film.
What if there's no actors in there? Can we film it then?
Well, that's like,
Not likely.
no tea in China,
So basically, we're going to film a lot of lobbies and staircases and empty chairs.
And what about this carpet? I mean, how often do you see carpet this color?
So we've got 2 drama theaters, 1 opera.
Now we've got a
house.
drama theatre and a playhouse. Now there's a distinct difference.
What's the difference?
A
Size?
playhouse is smaller than a drama theatre.
But the actors are just as good.
Yeah.
So then there's the Playhouse, the Drama Theater,
Yep.
the Concert Hall, and the Opera Hall.
Yeah.
Just four, correct? So can we start filming now?
We can film anything we want here.
Okay.
In the early 50s, the state government was looking to actually build something on this land, and an opera house was suggested. They had an international competition, and a Danish architect called Jorn Utzon won the competition. He started building on this spot until 1957, and then the actual opera house wasn't finished until 1973. It's considered the 8th wonder of the world. It's in a very beautiful area. It's right on the harbour.
What was his reasoning for this shape?
Well, he was influenced by Mayan architecture.
I said it looked like clams or seashells of some kind. Now that I think about it again, it now looks like an armadillo.
It's certainly reminiscent of clam shells.
뭐라고 말해야 되지, 선배님? 두 개 같다고 그랬어요, 옛날에. Flying bird.
Flying bird? A shell, yes. A shell? A shell, like
yes.
from the ocean? Of course.
The caps of a nun.
Nun's caps?
Yeah.
Like a habit?
Yeah. Cave.
A cave?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks more like a cap for me, like an officer big cap.
It reminds me a bit of the prow of a ship somehow.
An orange that I was angry with, and I threw it on the floor. It fell to pieces, and that's it.
The mouth of a crocodile. The mouth, the jaws, I mean.
The mouth of a crocodile?
Yes.
First thing that comes to mind.
Beauty. Really? Actually, the tiles are self-cleaning. There's 2,350,000 tiles on the sails of the Opera House.
On the roofs, that's what you call the sails?
On the sails of the Opera House.
How many again?
2,350,000. It's Swedish marble.
And how are they self-cleaning? Just by what way?
That's
soap just comes out of them?
No, that's what we were told when, that's what we were told when we bought them.
And are they still clean?
They're clean. We've never sent any back.
And we finally just battered him down hard enough. He said, all right, I'll show you the places. And he pulled out a book. All right, so you're going to show us all the things we couldn't see?
Yeah.
And then you're going to give us the book when we're done.
Unfortunately not. I'd love to, but I can't. Okay, that is a concert hall.
A bit nervous, I have to tell you.
So am I.
Oh wow, that comes off easy.
Yeah, it generally does. Look at that. Generally with this process, because we have to get it out of the mouth, and you've got quite a lot of silicones inside the mouth, we might have to lose a few of the teeth in the process, but...
I'm gonna lose some teeth?
Yeah. You see all the details?
Only got my ear on that side.
Everything. It went pretty deep inside the throat.
You know, this is the first time I've ever looked at my own profile. It's very strange.
What do you think?
It's obvious now that I am going very bald.
just.
How does it look?
First, look at yourself.
Oh, wow.
It's very impressive. It's fairly big, isn't it? Do you like it?
Very much so. That's just incredible.
I think it comes out beautifully well too.
Actually, before we go, there is one other cool thing that I want you guys to see. Do we have time to do this? Okay. It's a place called the Marble Bar, and it's in the basement of the Sydney Hilton, and it's this 150-year-old bar that was moved from another part of the city, slab by slab, to this new location, and it's really cool. Can we go? Do we have time? Got about 2 minutes. Okay, you guys want to go?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Come on.
How
Let's
we
go.
miss this place?
It's in our hotel.